On this episode of Mission Driven, I sit down with Definitive Healthcare's Executive Chairman and Founder, Jason Krantz, and Chief Product Officer, Kate Shamsuddin-Jensen, to talk about how their company is disrupting the healthcare industry, transforming data, analytics, and expertise into healthcare commercial intelligence, while also giving back to the community. We've been following the story for a while, but for some of us who don't know, can you tell us what Definitive Healthcare is and what the company does?
Definitive Healthcare creates what we call healthcare commercial intelligence. And what this is highly proprietary data and analytics that helps our clients sell and compete into the extremely complex healthcare ecosystem. When I started Definitive Healthcare back in 2011, there was vast changes happening within healthcare. The beginning of electronic health records were really starting to take off at that time. And what that meant is there was an explosion of data, and our clients were trying to understand, how do I harness that data to improve my understanding of the healthcare ecosystem? At the same time, the Affordable Care Act was taken off, and this was bringing whole new ways of reimbursing providers for the care that they provide. So value-based care was coming into play. All of these changes made selling into the healthcare ecosystem much more complicated than it ever was before. That's the problem that we set off to solve.
Talk a little bit more about the product strategy. How has it evolved since you joined Definitive Healthcare?
The product strategy has really grown and become much more dynamic over the last couple of years. And I think that's really the product of our business getting more complex and being able to solve more customer needs. And so we've spent a lot of time really tuning our product strategy to make sure that each one of our clients and our customer segments gets the insights and the analytics that really help them to grow their own businesses.
Tell us about the Definitive Healthcare culture and what makes the company so great.
It's really the people that we work with. You know, we show up every single day and everyone has a really common mission in mind. And that mission is to focus on taking data, taking analytics, taking information on experts, and really being able to transform that across the board. And so having that shared goal and that shared mission really helps us be a mission-driven organization.
The other part that's great about Definitive Healthcare is our community of giving back. So we've developed Definitive Cares, which is an organization within Definitive Healthcare that creates volunteer opportunities for all of our employees. We're really driven on how do we make sure that we're giving back to this community that's been so good to us.
That's incredible. For the past few years, 100% of your employees have volunteered with nonprofits through Definitive Cares. How is that important to you and the company's mission?
It's incredibly important to me. But more importantly than that, it's really important to our employees. They're the ones that drive this, and they give their time every single year to make sure that they're giving back to the community around us. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's a scorecard that says this is important to us and our employees care about this, and it means that we should invest more time and more energy into this effort.
What role have you played for Definitive Cares? What has that experience been like?
It's been a great experience. I was one of the founding members of Definitive Cares way back in the day when we got it off the ground, so it has a very special place in my heart. But what we were able to do was get out there, have an impact through our volunteer hours, through our financial contributions, and really think about different ways to make sure that we could be a part of the community around us.
Do you see charitable work scaling with the success of Definitive Healthcare?
We do. We have more resource to bear than we ever had before. And this is a couple of things. This is, of course, financial resources. So how can we provide more financial support to organizations that are important to our employees? But the other piece is we just have almost 1,000 employees now. So as you think about 100% volunteer effort every year, now that's 1,000 employees that give it their time and their energy. The second is we are now a global organization. We have employees and offices on 3 continents. So we can have impact far beyond Massachusetts, where this all started, to places like India and Europe and Sweden and all these other areas across the globe where we can now have outsized impact.
Can you elaborate a little bit more about what corporate social responsibility means for Definitive Healthcare, and tell us about some of the initiatives that you support?
So corporate responsibility is really important to who we are as an organization. So this for us is everything from our community outreach efforts to how we build our product and how we help solve major problems. And I'll give you an example of that. When COVID hit last year, we had a lot of data and analytics that could be really helpful to the government and the hospitals who are trying to engage in this problem. So we built something called the COVID Capacity Predictor, and we helped the Department of Defense and the Department of Health and Human Services look across the country at demand for COVID, so the number of cases that were coming about by county, and the number of beds and ventilators that existed. We had all of this data, so we were able to help them predict where there was going to be the biggest problems and how to put up field hospitals and make sure that extra capacity was invested in to make sure that we could help it. That type of responsibility is something we take extremely seriously.
What do you see as the future of healthcare?
It's a great question. I wish I could kind of shake my magic 8-ball and look into the future. But as I think about kind of where we're headed, I think we'll continue to see an enormous amount of innovation that's going to be required to keep making sure that healthcare delivery is really, really efficient, delivering the patient outcomes that we all want to see.
Healthcare is going to continue to change at an extraordinarily rapid pace. We want to be at the very center of it. So we're at this unique position where we frankly have a responsibility to continue to help our clients evolve and help transform this really important industry to all of us.